Hey guys, how you doing? Thank you very much for visiting my website and thank you for clicking on this video. I'd like to take this time to kind of introduce myself and tell you a little bit about what I'm all about. My name is Matthew Gerard, but in medical journals that circulate the world, doctors know me as Brad. When I was 16, I lived just an ordinary life like any other 16-year-old. I went to school full time, I ran competitive track, I also worked two part-time jobs so I could afford my first automobile. Life was good. But what if someone told you that tomorrow when you wake up, everything you know, everything you have worked so hard for, is going to be gone? You'd have to reinvent yourself. How would you feel if somebody told you that? When I was 16 years old, I was also involved in a very horrific automobile accident. On my way home from school, I wrapped my car around a hydro pole. The initial officer on the scene, things didn't look good, and he actually wrote my accident up as a fatal accident. It took firefighters 45 minutes to extract me from the vehicle using the jaws of life. When I did finally arrive at the hospital, I was in a coma. I was hooked up to life support. I can only imagine how horrific that would be for any parent to see. My parents sat down with the doctors and they asked the doctor, "Could our son die?" And the doctor responded, "Yeah, his injury is very, very severe. There is a good chance he could die." Coming from a religious family, my parents then had a priest come into the hospital and perform the sacrament of the sick on me. I was in my coma for 2 weeks. When I woke up, it was like being reborn. I had to learn everything over again. I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to talk. I had to learn how to swallow. I couldn't even swallow solid foods. They had me on a pureed diet. I had to relearn everything. It was like being 16 and reborn again. I think there was even a time when my father had to change my diapers. Could you imagine that? But I was in the hospital for a month's time. When I was released from the hospital, the battle didn't end there. The hospital was the easy part. When I got home, I was working with a team of people. I had a speech language pathologist, an occupational therapist, a rehabilitation therapist, a social worker. The list goes on with the amount of people that came into my life and were coming to my house every day working with me to improve my life. They did do an IQ test on me, and at the time that I was released from the hospital, they determined that I had the IQ of a grade 2. I would never pass high school. Having the math equivalency of a grade 2, it doesn't look good when you're 16 years old. I I wasn't going to let this get me down though when I heard this. Like I said, I ran track and field as well, and I was very successful at that. What I did was I took my competitive nature from track and I transferred it over to my education. The doctors let me go back to school for one class, English media. I studied. I worked my butt off. I was up in the library every day reading books. Work, work, work. That's all I did. The librarian even knew me by name and reserve a room for me every lunch hour. I worked. I worked hard. I ended up 2 years after the accident, I graduated high school. I actually graduated high school with the grade 12 math award. I think that's the only academic award I have ever received. I went on to college where I graduated with my diploma in social service work. After that, I went on to university where I did a specialization in sociology and psychology. I battled, I worked, I accomplished so much against all odds. After university, I supported people with disabilities. I worked for a company called Community Living. I supported people who also sustained acquired brain injuries. Some injuries were even less severe than mine, and here I am supporting these people. I bought my first house when I was 23. I was on top of the world. None of that came easy. It took a lot of hard work. My passion now, as you can tell by the website, it's speaking. It's telling my story. It's motivating people not to give up, to want better for themselves. I speak a lot about my accident. I talk about navigating yourself successfully through the 5 stages of grief, which we all experience at some point in our lives. I talk about moving yourself from a victim mindset to a victor mindset, just as I have done. I also talk about the importance of goal setting and achieving your goals. And to do this, I have incorporated 3 simple words into my life. Those words are sacrifice, dedication, and perseverance. Some people say that when it comes to setting goals, the sky is the limit. I say that's great. But last time I checked, are there not footprints on the moon, people? My name's Matthew Gerard, and I look forward to speaking at your next event. Thanks. Bye.